Welcome to Talk of the Town here on KNSJ 89.1 FM. We have an exciting show for you all today. We have three guests. We're going to be starting off with Tsukuru. Tsukuru, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Tsukuru Fors, based in LA. I am originally from Japan. Have been in this country for 31 years. I'm a bunch of things, but I am a anti-nuke, anti-war healthcare justice activist primarily. Because my inspiration came from the fact that I graduated from a high school in Hiroshima, where 350 students lost their young lives on August 6, 1945. So that's been sort of like part of my personal legacy, and it just became my life's mission to advocate for abolition of nuclear and anything and everything nuclear.
That's amazing. And so I know that you wanted to discuss a few things today that are happening in Japan. I heard that they're planning on doing dumps, that they're claiming that they've filtered some of this waste that they're pouring out, but that it's actually not nuclear free. Would you give us some more information on that?
Yeah, definitely. So this announcement actually came 1 year ago, right? So April 12th, 2021, I believe, the Japanese government made an announcement that they are planning to release, discharge irradiated water from the Fukushima power plant. Now it's, defunct power plant because of the accident in 2011. So I don't know. Okay, so if you've seen any pictures from Fukushima, you probably have seen all these like tanks. Literally, right now there are like 1,000 tanks in Fukushima that contain irradiated water, because they need that water to cool down the system. Because nuclear, what they have right there, it's not fully decommissioned yet. So you have to like keep cooling it down to avoid accidents, right? So in other words, like they are constantly producing, irradiated water. So now they claim that they are running out of the space to store this over 1 million ton of water.
Wow.
So yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy.
I know. So their plan is to discharge this over next 30 years. 30 years, yeah. It's a huge commitment, for the world. I mean, and, as you mentioned, their claim is that, so they have this system called ALPS, A-L-P-S, ALPS, that sort of filter the water. So they're saying that, we will dilute it. So it's gonna be safe. It's going to be safe for humans. It's going to be safe for ecosystem. However, their internal document leaked, at some point, and now it shows that ALPS can only process 70% of of the water. So the rest of 30%, they are not filtering. And also, this is actually, I think, to me, more important point. So when they talk about radioactive, isotopes, they usually talk about cesium, because that has like shorter life than other isotopes. So now they're saying like, okay, so it contains cesium, but it has short lifespan, so it's safe, right? It's not gonna be there forever. But there are other isotopes that they are not mentioning. There are over like 50 or 60 something, 60 some isotopes that is in the water, and you can't dilute to make these things disappear because they are isotopes. Anyway, so that's the gist of it. Yeah, frustrating thing is, okay, so this is a critical point. Frustrating thing is, so the Japanese government and TEPCO, the electric power company behind the Fukushima plant, so they're saying that, oh yeah, we're gonna go ahead with this plan. Area residents including and especially farmers and fishermen, and also neighboring nations, such as Korea and China. They're saying that, okay, they are very, very concerned, we should stop it. And they are not listening to these people. So
Mike just joined us. Mike is the host of the show. Mike, I just want to give you a quick update and a timeline of the show because it's a little bit complicated. So first, we're going to have Tsukuru talking about Japan dumping toxic water, and that's what we were just discussing. And so she can give you a little bit of details on that. And in about 20 minutes, we're going to transition over to Activist San Diego. It's actually the parent company to KNSJ 89.1 FM. And then we're going to transition over to Terry Wilson at about 11:45. So I just wanted to give you kind of those details.
That's great.
Hi
there. Continue on, guys. Continue on with the dumping of the toxic waste into the waters. Are we talking? Is that into the ocean?
Yeah, and their plan is start in spring of 2023.
And who's there? Is this the government of Japan, the Japanese government?
Yeah, the Japanese government and TEPCO, which is the electric power company behind the Fukushima plant.
So all right. So talk to us about where are you right now? Where do you live? I'm
based in LA actually, Los Angeles. Yep.
But do you living in Japan?
I am not currently. In other words, I came to this country 31 years ago, so I've been here kind of forever. But I still have family and friends in Japan.
Okay, so talk to us about what do people in Japan do to express their concerns and their opposition to this dumping of nuclear contaminated water. Is it contaminated water that they're dumping?
Yes.
So what is the attitude amongst the activists in Japan, and what can they do to try to do something about it?
Right. Thank you, Mike. That's a very good question because, okay, so I'll give you some background. So it's been 11 years since the accident, and the mood, of the general public in Japan. I mean, because of the, I guess the culture that we have in Japan, which is, kind of like a conformist, culture. We don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to like make waves because then we are seen as, somebody who is just making, out to make troubles, and that's not good in our society. So after 11 years, the general mood has been like, okay, let's move on. Let's not talk about, the danger of nuclear or the fact that decommissioning is really, not happening at this stage because they really do not know how. And, all these things, the general public has been pretty silent about this. However, this water release actually hit the nerve of a lot of people, especially the locals. So locals, meaning, in and around Fukushima Prefecture, who is the most directly affected by the contamination that's still happening there, they actually started to speak out on this, which is actually very, very encouraging because I heard from journalists and activists in the area that, pretty much like for the last 10 years, because of the concern, like, they don't want to make troubles with their neighbors and stuff like that. So people have been very quiet about the whole thing. But then now people are saying, wait a minute, this water release thing is really not, it doesn't really look good to us. And as I was mentioning, especially, fishermen in the area and farmers in the area.
Is there some effort to develop a responsible plan for how to contain or store or somehow segregate the water?
Yeah, I mean, suggestions, have been made by activist organizations. We've been talking about, okay, let's just talk about alternative solutions, such as solidifying the water and store it like underground in a much safer manner. But these alternative solutions haven't been thoroughly explored. So that's like one of the grievances that we have against Japanese government. They should do enough due diligence, and they should actually provide us with third-party assessment data, which they are not providing.
So Japan is a democracy. Is that true?
Well, yeah, I mean on the paper, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So one of the ideas in democracy is when you have a problem, there is, you put the facts out on the table. Mm-hmm. There is a well-organized discussion. Alternatives are developed. They're evaluated, and there's no perfect solution, but you then try to figure out what is the optimum solution. Mm-hmm. Once you make that decision, you get everybody on board, and then try to solve the problem to the extent that you can. Where are we in that kind of process in Japan? What stage?
Mike, I really have to say, unfortunately, I don't think there's such process happening in Japan. This water release, this plan is pretty much settled in the minds of Japanese government, and that's the way they are approaching it. Yes, as I said, of course, local people and activists are demanding that Japanese government, reconsider the plan and abandon the plan, but they are moving ahead as if they have the permission of everyone. Which
so the company that owns the plan is what's it again? It's
TEPCO,
okay,
Tokyo Electric Power Company. Yeah.
Okay. Now, is that a private company?
It is.
Okay.
It is. However, it's actually okay. So, TEPCO is the largest advertiser in Japan. And why I mentioned that, it's kind of like it here. It's like, okay, so they control the media, right? Because they are advertisers. So yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that.
Okay, but the point is, the point you're making is okay. So TEPCO is a private company, and technically, the water should be their responsibility because they're the ones that created the problem. Is that true? But the government,
you can say that. Yeah, yeah.
Okay? So like here, like with our Public Utilities Commission, our governor, our legislature, the government in Japan is not making TEPCO come up with a plan that really will protect everyone. They're coming up with a plan that TEPCO is okay with TEPCO. Is that true? That TEPCO signed off on the plan? It's okay with TEPCO. Let's just do it because we want to keep TEPCO happy. Is that a fair statement?
Yep, yeah, that's pretty much the Japanese government's attitude towards and with the nuclear industry, though, for over the years, because we actually called them what is it, nuclear mafia, right? Because they have so much power with the government, and basically pretty much after the war, World War II, we meaning in Japan, started to develop this nuclear industry, and it's been, the government's attitude towards it is one of the protectionism. They protect the industry at all costs.
Can you envision a Japan that transitions out of nuclear reliance on nuclear power into something more in the area of solar power? I mean, after all, the flag of Japan, it kind of tells it all. Do you see that as a possibility?
Unfortunately, not under the current leadership, meaning LDP.
What is LDP?
Liberal Democratic Party, which is kind of a misnomer. I think they don't represent what their name stands for. There's nothing democratic about them, but anyway, yeah, LDP has been in power forever in Japan.
Do they get voted in by the voters?
Yes, and that's the problem as well. It's almost like Japanese people have this blinder on. Like I grew up in a generation, like all my parents, I mean, both my parents were the believers, like they have faith in LDP. Like if you leave it to LDP, everything will be okay. That's the mentality, some people have in Japan.
Is there any-
Unfortunately, a lot of people.
Is there any competing viable alternative political party that is trying to do the right things?
Unfortunately, Mike, no, actually,
So
no.
where is there, are there some activists, some academics, some journalists? Is there some kind of talk to us about that burgeoning group, that possibility of progressive forces coming together?
Okay, so well, okay, so in terms of political party, Kyosanto is okay. Kyosanto is roughly translated. It's a communist party of Japan. But if you ask anyone, including myself, in the area of like nuclear, anti-nuke activism, anti-war activism, any socialist in Japan, Kyosanto is, probably the only party that we trust, because they are the ones who are pushing like people's agenda, in Japan, and they're not afraid of it. But pretty much all the rest is either just too small, or they just like they're sorry for the my French, but they're askisers to LDP. They just really they may be a different party, but they just do support LDP's agenda because they just want to be friendly with power, I guess.
So are you saying that is there a sizable communist party in Japan?
Not enough to take power, no.
So so we have the Liberal Democratic Party, which is, you said, is not so liberal. We have the Communist Party.
Yeah.
So we have, is there a Green Party?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say they are, in terms of size, I would say they're negligible. Sorry, Green Party, but yeah, not yeah.
What about other countries? Where is Japan going to dump this water?
They are right now digging under ocean tunnel, but it's just 1 kilometer, so it's like a 1.6 mile long tunnel. So it's like essentially off the coast of Fukushima.
And then, then they're going to pump the water through that pipe?
Yeah.
Out into the ocean?
Yes. I mean, but as I mentioned, it's only like 1.6 mile tunnel. It doesn't really do anything. I don't know why they're building it. Nobody knows.
Well, that just gets it out of the immediate area. But so does that have some impact on you? Who's the closest to Japan? Through the ocean. Who's the closest ocean?
Korea. That's why a lot of actually Korean government and a lot of Korean organizations, activists, they are very, very adamant that Japanese government should reconsider.
And is that because they're worried that it's going to affect the fishing industry?
They are worried about it. I think for the rightly so. Yeah.
Well, and one thing that we were talking about is that they're claiming that they're filtering out the water. This water has been used to cool down the nuclear reactors, and it has been contaminated by the isotopes from the nuclear reactors. And so they're claiming that they're filtering out all these isotopes that are toxic, but in all actuality, they're only filtering out 70%. So 30% of that is toxic, and they're sending that out into our oceans. Isn't that right, Tsukuru?
Right.
Okay, so is there any kind of United Nations, or is the United States, or any of the other major powers in the world, have they done or said anything, protested, requested that it not be done?
I think, okay, so last year, I believe, some people who are officially associated with United Nations, made a kind of made a statement of grievance, saying that it's really irresponsible of the Japanese government to go ahead with this plan because it's really not the well thought out plan, and it is going to endanger the environment and the people, the lives of people.
The nuclear waste, it doesn't just go away in a few years, does it? What is the predicted lifespan of this nuclear waste that they're going to be discharging through that mile-long pipe into the ocean in Japan?
Okay, here's the thing. Yeah, thank you for asking. So among the isotopes that are in the water, so things like, cesium, which actually the Japanese government and TEPCO like to mention a lot because they have a very short life. But I mean, among the isotopes, actually, there are ones like which, live really like literally hundreds of years, right? So, yeah, it is just as I was saying to Mitch, I'm fundamentally opposed to it, but at least I feel that they are responsible. They should be providing data to convince people that it's safe, and that data or reports should come from an independent third-party entity, which means not affiliated with neither Japanese government or TEPCO.
So Mitch, what do you think about this?
I think that that they shouldn't be dumping that into the ocean at all. That there should be 0% isotopes, that they are contaminating our oceans. And without our oceans, they've actually proven that without our oceans, that we are in some serious trouble going forward with this planet. Tsukuru, I know that there's some efforts that you're working on currently in California. We have a couple more minutes before we're going to bring Francis in. And so if you would like to focus in on the efforts that you're working on there in California, and then we'll bring Francis in from our parent company, Activist San Diego.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, so my organization, Pacific Asian Nuclear Free Peace Alliance, we are actually calling for all people concerned to join us on June 11th, which is Saturday, directly after the World Oceans Day, which is June 8th. So June 11th, we are calling, calling everyone to have a day of action, global day of action. So it can be a rally, local rally, petition drive, virtual meeting, whatever you can do to expose, the danger of planned water release, and express to Japanese government and TEPCO that no, we don't like it, and please reconsider the plan. So actually, yeah.
How can we get behind that? What can we do to help with
that? This is great, spreading the word, because we really want this to be global action. And I think, here's the thing. We have until spring of 2023. I believe that we can stop this, and it should be stopped. Mitch is right. This is really ridiculous. This no water that contains radioactive isotopes should be released into the water.
Where's the water? Where's the water being stored now?
Fukushima. Yeah. When you see pictures of Fukushima and you see all these tanks, there are thousands, like over 1,000 tanks right now that contain water, and they are running out of the room. Is what they say.
Do they have the ability to build a series of more of tanks that would hold it for a longer period of time?
Well, the thing is, okay, so the alternative solution, there are like about couple of them or more, that's been proposed. I think, solidifying water with this, kind of chemical component and burying it in ground actually will be much safer than dumping it into the ocean, in my opinion. But I'm not a scientist.
Then why aren't they doing that? Why aren't they doing it? Why aren't they doing the safer thing?
I feel
God,
like that's where
you
we
got
have to
me.
push
You got
them.
me.
That's
Yeah.
where
Yeah,
that's
let's,
where
So,
we come
but
in.
let's
but
bring Francis in.
before I go though, I just want to mention. So for those of you who don't know this fact, okay, so Fukushima radiation has reached and has been reaching California coast. Ever since the Fukushima disaster of 2011. So it's here.
What do we have
Right.
that shows that? How can we demonstrate to people that
Yeah,
that's true?
there's been thanks to Mothers for Peace in San Luis Obispo, the water of the coast of California. Mothers for Peace collects water at the Pismo Beach specifically, but several places down the along the coastline have been collected and regularly sampled and being tested at the okay. So I forgot the testing facilities, the name of it, but yeah, they are being tested and they're being monitored, and there has been data that's been provided by
is the Nuclear Regulatory Commission monitoring it?
No. There's no, okay, here's a crazy thing. So this monitoring effort has been done and has been funded privately because no government agency or no municipalities have been supporting it. That's the crazy thing. It's publicly, it's privately funded, funded through things like crowdfunding.
That is absurd.
I know.
Well, I just want to remind our listeners, you're listening to KNSJ 89.1 FM. And this is Talk of the Town. Tsukuru, I'm so grateful that you were able to join us today and share more about that. You're welcome to stay on if you want to share any other opinions throughout the show. And I wasn't trying to cut you off. I just wasn't sure if Francis wanted to get in on our conversation. Yeah. So, I'm so grateful that there are people out there that are standing up against this. Once we pour these toxins into our oceans, it's just like you said, it travels. It travels because of the way our oceans operate. When you pour something into the water in Japan, it reaches other coastlines, and it really does affect everyone in the world. Francis, would you like to, Mike, did you have anything you'd like to share before?
Please, I'm dying to hear from Francis. Let's hear what she has to say.
Yeah. And and I just wanted to answer the question. I don't, so Tsukuru and I actually met right after the Los Angeles City Council voted to endorse a whole slate of nuclear disarmament proposals, and that was something that, how many years ago that was, but it was proof that organizing works, and people coming together to put pressure on their local governments and different levels of government is what can make change. And so I just want to state, as Tsukuru mentioned, this is a very achievable thing for us to stop. And Tsukuru and I are both longtime organizers working in the nuclear sphere. So we've come together to actually pull together a coalition that is putting together the public pressure that is going to stop this dump. And Tsukuru is based in Los Angeles, where I used to live. I'm in San Diego. We have a whole network of team coming together, including Hawaii and including across, including Japan and the Philippines. So we're pulling together organizers right now to execute what Tsukuru mentioned of a mass movement to stop this. So I'll just be starting to share a little more about what we're doing locally here in San Diego. Activist San Diego, which Mitch keeps saying that we're the parent company, and I just want to correct you. We're a C3 organization. So there's no corporate profits.
No. We have a sprawling corporate empire, parent companies, subsidiaries, affiliates, special purpose entities.
Indeed, no. So, and I want to. Actually, this is a great opportunity. I really appreciate you all inviting this conversation to happen, because I will say Activist San Diego has been going through some evolutions as we continue to grow and evolve. Our dear leader Martin Eder, who has been our fearless leader for the last couple of decades, is getting his finally getting some retirement in and getting to step back. We had Yusuf Miller step up as our new executive director. We've got a bunch of amazing board members that I could talk for hours about each of them. But I'll say that we are, and I joined the board about a year and a half ago, and am just excited to be part of the leadership and helping us. The mission of Activist San Diego has always been not to create new organizations, but to bring together organizers and activists and anyone who wanted to find ways to actually make change and get involved to do so. And KNSJ, as we're talking about Activist San Diego being the parent, was it a decade ago when it was birthed? Michael, maybe you've probably been around the station for longer than I have, so you can talk about maybe a little bit about that. But we're excited about partnering together both in the activism and getting on the airwaves and bringing it all together to amplify this work. And one of the things that's happening specifically is on Earth Day, the Earth Fair, April 24th, Sunday. We will, both KNSJ and Activist San Diego will have tables next to each other in Balboa Park. And KNSJ will be broadcasting live, I believe.
I want to say one thing about that.
Yeah,
we will not be sitting next to the nude gardener. Okay, like we did a couple of years ago. Okay, that
sounds like a story.
It was such we were, Martin and I are there going, okay.
Is it a statue or was it a real live gardener?
No, they were real. Their organization was nude gardeners, nude gardening. And
wow.
they weren't actually in the nude, but it was pretty fun. But no, you're right. Well, let me say this. There was a woman, and I'm so ashamed of myself that I can't remember her name. You may hopefully know, but she was the voice and conscience of Activist San Diego for many years. And she was the kind, honest, direct person who, when I met her, I just thought, oh, I really got to be a part of this, because I had, I was a student body president at UC Berkeley, and I believed in activism, nonviolent social change. And when, San Diego, we've been a little recalcitrant when it comes to, activism. We've had our day in the sun, but, like I just as the nuclear issue, okay, just as the nuclear issue. So they decided to put the nuclear power plant in Southern California, at our northern border. And that was pushed forward, in the 60s. And then Southern Cal Edison decided in, the mid 2000s that they were going to replace the steam generators at San Onofre. And they put steam generators that they knew were highly risky that were not going to work, and they didn't. All four of the replacement steam generators were defective within 11 months of when they all got turned on. Mm-hmm. And so we went through this whole process where Southern Cal Edison tried to make the ratepayers pay for everything, billions of dollars. And they had a proceeding in front of the CPUC, and the head of the CPUC, the president, and one of the key players at Southern California Edison met at one of these boondoggle meetings that they have in Warsaw, Poland, and worked out a solution where the ratepayers were basically going to pick up the entire tab. And that eventually, thanks to Jeff McDonald of the Union Tribune, that eventually was exposed. But in the process, we started investigating, and what we found out was when they decided that they were going to store permanently the nuclear waste at San Onofre right on the shoreline, when they decided to do that, they practiced with practice canisters that were smaller than the ones that they were actually going to use, substantially smaller. So they really didn't train them on how to properly download the canisters that they were storing and are storing. And so the canisters kept bumping up, against the sides, and God only knows how much damage was done, until one day, one of the canisters actually got hung up on the side of the silo and was suspended for several minutes. 25, several 100,000 pounds of nuclear waste was suspended above. So we've made a real effort to find out why in the world, how could the Nuclear Regulatory Commission have allowed them to use canisters or practice canisters that were too small? Why didn't they correct it? Why, when it happened, Southern Cal Edison didn't report it? We started doing public records requests, and they just stonewalled us all the way through.
Yeah.
So even to this day, we don't know.
So Michael, that's always been the situation. You hit the nail on the head. So ever since America chose to start developing nuclear weapons, the Savannah River plant there's a great documentary called Building Bombs. It won an Academy Award in the early 90s, I believe. And it covers how they used to bury toxic waste in cardboard boxes because they didn't have another plan. And there was a guy, the documentary covers this guy who was brought in to do an investigation or like a study. And he started, his report got buried, and he got buried, and so that's like you're right.
Where was that located? What was that? Tell me, where was that located again?
Savannah River plant. They basically, I want to say it was it was in Georgia. Building Bombs is the documentary, and you hit a couple things. So it's always been the case that they've never had a good solution, and like you said, it's about having the reporters and the media, the journalists doing the investigative work, or any individual citizens doing the investigative work, and then organizing. So every year at the Earth Fair, apparently tens of thousands of people come through, and this is a huge opportunity for Activist San Diego to. We're going to be we're creating a petition with the coalition that Tsukuru and I are working with. We're going to be directing it to Interior Director Secretary Deb Haaland, who is a progressive Native American, was a representative and is now in the Biden administration as Secretary of the Interior. John Kerry as well will be, who's now the special representative about the environment, climate. So, and to the president. And we're going to be gathering signatures on a petition. And I'm putting in the chat, ASD is looking for volunteers right now to table with us at Balboa Park.
Hey, Mitch, are we going to be broadcasting live from there?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's the plan. Mm-hmm. Yep. On Thursday, we are going to be broadcasting from the KNSJ booth there in Balboa Park on April 24th.
And I just put in the Facebook chat, live chat, I put a link where folks can sign up to volunteer with Activist San Diego at Earth Day, and feel free to use that same link and tell us you want to volunteer with KNSJ or hit up KNSJ as well. We'll be next to each other. And then we're also going to have a petition focused on the Miramar Air Show. And that is a boondoggle of a waste of tax dollars and creates a lot of environmental toxicity. So we'll have some petitions where the public can weigh in on these important issues. Do we want this toxic water in the Pacific? Do we want our air polluted with with just unnecessary jet fuel? So ASD is going to be doing that. And then I want to mention too, we have a bonfire this evening, tonight, Saturday, April 16th, when this is being recorded. Activist San Diego is bringing together, having a bonfire at the De Anza boat launch. The link for that sign up is in the chat as well. We'll be getting going around 5 p.m. tonight just type in the De Anza boat launch in your map, and you can come join us for a bonfire of some social distancing, but community building. Also, every month, Activist San Diego has a monthly community meeting scheduled on the third Monday of every month. And this coming up on April 18th is and we've been doing these virtually, so it's a great opportunity to, in the comfort of your own home, come together and build community. Monday on the 18th, we are going to be this month's focus of our meeting is all about community building. So we're not some months we have lots of excellent speakers and conversation. This is going to be just a very open get to know each other and the organizations that we're working with. So I have that link in the chat as well. And obviously the volunteer with Earth Fair. So that's kind of what Activist San Diego
That
is
sounds
up
great.
to.
That sounds like a lot. I'm exhausted just listening to it. I've got to catch my breath here. No, that's fantastic. And you know, so who's our target? Where are the potential activists out there who, if they come to understand the great example that you and others with Activist San Diego, who can we attract to become more actively involved in your judgment?
You know, oh gosh. I mean, I find so many people I talk to who are not politically engaged, when you talk to them about what's going on, everyone's concerned and everyone feels this discomfort. And I always say that the antidote to the anxiety is organizing. And so everyone across the board feels this frustration with politics and feels the anxiety of a war breaking out and, you know, possible nuclear war. So while it can be overwhelming to think that we can do anything, I personally believe that every single individual has so much more power than we realize. And part of that is just having conversations, is signing petitions, is calling your elected officials at every level. So, you know, I think Michael, everyone, I will say specifically, I'm excited about Activist San Diego and KNSJ doing more to, you know, both, you know, reach each other's audiences, because I'm sure there's a lot of listeners who come for the music and the conversation that, will become organizers someday. And you know, we've been encouraging folks at ASD to listen to the shows. And it's all about just bringing the community together. And I think, you know, I actually have to get going, but I wanted to say that, you know, Activist San Diego, while we're engaged in the politics, the political social justice pursuit of social justice, we're also all about the arts, because arts is political, and creativity is something that brings joy to our life. And that was why I was really excited that that the next guest that you'll be speaking with, Terry Wilson, could join today, because I'm very excited about what they're up to. So
well, let's get there because we're running out of time. That was great. Okay.
Yeah, we have about 12 minutes left because we started a little bit late. But I just want to say one quick thing. Francis, I absolutely love that statement, that the antidote to anxiety is action, because there's so many people in the world that are so consumed with anxiety, and there's all these issues and things that they can't control happening in the world, and they feel overwhelmed to the point where they just don't do anything at all because they feel like they can't make a difference. But I just love that concept.
Well, let me just say one thing. Let me just refine that one little bit, Mitch. What she said was the antidote is organizing.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Well, the antidote to anxiety is action and organizing.
Yes.
In her bio, it says the antidote to anxiety is action, but the overall concept of moving, organizing, getting into action, and responding to anxiety by getting organizing and taking action, I find that very powerful.
Yeah. Well, I think that nuance that you guys pointed out is actually good, because I actually always do say it's organizing, but I do think I might have. But and in that, so I believe there's a difference between being an activist and an organizer. And most people think, oh, activism. But I am a big believer in strategy, in strategic action. That is organizing.
Saul Alinsky. Do you know who that is?
Yes.
So rules for radicals.
I'm going to leave it at, go to activistsandiego.org, sign up for our newsletter, become a member. Email me at fym@activistsandiego.org. We want everyone to reach out, tell us what, how you want to get involved or ask us questions, and we will be here to help build the beloved community. So signing off.
Thank you so much. Great job, Francis.
I just want to remind our guests, you're listening to KNSJ 89.1 FM. This is Talk of the Town with host Mike Aguirre. I'm your co-host, Mitchell Murphy. Our next guest is Terry Wilson. Terry, would you like to introduce yourself and your background in dancing?
Hi, thank you for having me on the show. Francis invited me, and my name is Terry Wilson. I'm the Executive Artistic Director of San Diego Dance Theater. This is my first year. I've just completed my first year as Artistic Director, February 1st, 2021, so in the middle of the pandemic.
Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. I'm also a full professor at San Diego City College, also co-chair of the Visual Performing Arts there on my beloved campus at City College. And then I'm also a lecturer up at UCSD in the theater and dance department. I teach mostly the history of dance up at UC, but I run the program at City College, and now I'm creating opportunities for lots of people to dance and choreograph by blending my background of education into art making. So I'm very, very blessed.
Will you talk to us about dance in San Diego?
Dance in San Diego, yes. Well, it is the pandemic, but I would say there's a burgeoning community that's coming out, and that's we're recovering from the pandemic and being resilient and still making dances, still trying to perform dances for audiences in San Diego, and kind of piggybacking on what the healing nature of the arts, kind of Francis introduced that. Yes, we need the arts to heal us from the things that we're going through, and dance and movement is a big opportunity to heal and to be a part of something, whether you're actually taking classes or performing on stage or coming to be an audience member or a supporter in some way of the arts, because we will help heal from the pandemic and from the different atrocities that are happening across the globe. And so I feel, like doing the work that I do as an educator at San Diego City College, and then as an artist at San Diego Dance Theater, I feel like we are making a big effort to provide that to our community and to each other in classes and in performances that, we're still together. My last performance was called Belonging, a Place for Everybody, because I feel that dance brings people together, art brings people together. We're involved in the WOW Festival coming up next weekend, April 21, 22, 23, 24, hosted by the La Jolla Playhouse. They are doing a fantastic job bringing opportunities for the 4 dance companies that are in residence here at Dance.
Where are they located? How does people go there? How do they get involved?
Okay, so I'm in Liberty Station right now, the Arts District, and there are 4 companies in residence at the Dottie Lau Dance Place, and we have all been invited to be a part of the WOW Festival. There are local artists, national artists, and international artists that will be going on all day, Saturday and Sunday, and some other performances in the Lightbox, which is also hosted by San Diego Dance Theater.
Can you tell the audience what we're looking at here?
Okay, so what you're looking at here are panels of artists. This is the website for the WOW Festival. I'm just going to say again, these people are amazing. So they're building the stage here on one of the promenades, South Promenade here.
At the WOW, W-O-W Festival?
Yeah, WOW Festival means without walls. Sorry, I should have said that. I'm just a small part of it. It's a very big festival, and we're really, really happy to be a part of it. It's an outside stage, this beautiful stage that they're designing with the opportunity to sit right at the stage. And what you're scrolling through are the different performers. So when you click on those panels, there's mine right there with Lavina Rich and Marcos going, shh, that's mine, The Mystery of Secrets. That's hosted by San Diego Dance Theater, but I included and invited my dear friends BK Soul, Dr. Grace Shinhei Jun, and my friend Lavina Rich with Push Process Movement, and then Marcos Duran, who's in the company in San Diego.
So if people want to attend the WOW Festival, where do they go? Where do they?
So the best way is to go here to the website and to kind of take a look at what the rundown is. Some things are free, some things require that you buy a ticket. Our performance for San Diego Dance Theater is actually free to the public. So it's basically a big fair. There's the last time I actually experienced it was on the campus at UCSD, and you could buy different kinds of tickets and go to see different performances all day. So
is that where it is this year too? Is it going to be UCSD?
No, it's at Liberty Station here.
Oh, Liberty Station. Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah, no, I think they did this. You know, this is the first time I've actually been involved as an artist. I've gone to the WOW Festival as an audience member, but it was a while ago.
What are you doing as an artist? What are you going to be doing?
Well, we went, if you can scroll back to, okay. We're doing, go to the panel and don't click on it though, so you can see the pictures. Keep going down, scroll down a little bit. There, there's Lavina. See the 4 of us. Yeah, just leave the picture, I would say, and I'll just talk about the mystery of secrets. So we were invited to do the WOW Festival by La Jolla Playhouse, and we had to put in a proposal. I think it was last summer. And so I thought it would be fun to play around with the idea of secrets. We all have secrets, we all tell secrets. And so each of us, the 4 choreographers that you see here in the middle panel, are going to approach the concept of secrets, and sort of the passions and things that go around that even. And so 4 of us will be making dances around that theme, and they'll all be
inside or outside?
It's outside. It's outside. They're going to build a stage. I'm not sure if they have a picture of the stage here on the website. They're going to build a stage with scaffolding. You can be in the round. So it's almost like a picnic out on the grass. They're going to build a stage. It looks to me like you can sit at the stage. There's chairs right at the edge of the stage.
What time is this?
Our show is from 4:30 to 5, but I believe it goes on all day and all night, the whole festival.
So here's the idea. If you want to have a really unique experience to appreciate the wonderful talent we have of our dancers here in San Diego, go to Liberty Station next week, 21, 22, 23, 24. Go to the WOW website so you can see the various types of performances. You could go to some that might be free, you might have to pay. You'll get all that information. Show up, because it's a fantastic way to celebrate San Diego.
Yes.
And our own artists. And of course, dance is such an amazing, you know, whether you like the Nutcracker and ballet, or the most modern of modern dancing, it is a fabulous, fabulous way for people to appreciate art and for people to participate in the actual dancing. So what does dancing do for you, Francis?
Oh gosh, that's a big question. Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm 60 years old, and I started dancing when I was 21.
Okay, I'm sorry. Bring out I got to see your driver's license. I do not believe you're 60 years old.
I was born in 1961.
Mitch, does she look 60 to you, Mitch?
Absolutely not.
No,
a little closer. No, thank you.
Dancing is keeping you young.
Yes, and I'm also sort of young at heart, I would say. Okay. A lot of people would say.
Okay, so tell us what you're going to tell us about your dance.
So I started dancing when I went to college. I went to Palomar College, and I decided to take a dance class. I didn't come from a family that could afford to send me to ballet lessons in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And so by the time I got myself out of high school and out here to California in 1979, so there you go. I was 17, do the math, I'm 60. And I said, I'm gonna go to Palomar College, and I took a ballet class, and here I sit, artistic director of San Diego Dance Theater. Well, it consumed my life in the best way. And for me, you know, I would say it gives me joy every day. I'm exhausted every day because it's a labor of love, but I like to work hard, and I like
dance every day. Do you dance
every day? I dance every day. I just got done teaching class. I'm a little sweaty.
do we have ballet folklorico, anything like that? Any
well, right now, right behind me here in our other studio is flamenco.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So we try to do a little bit of everything. We have, we're most famous for Trolley Dances. We do live art.
What's Trolley Dances?
Trolley Dances is a site-specific performance. It's the 23rd year. We do it in the fall, and the audience buys tickets, and they jump on the trolley. They ride with their tour guide, and they go and get off, and they'll see a dance, and then they jump back on, and they go.
And when is that again? When is that again?
That'll be September, I don't have that in front of me right now. September.
You know, I used to live in Washington, D.C., and I would go to the John F. Kennedy Center and see this amazing performances. But I think the most interesting dance performance I ever saw was after the World Cup, and I was over. My partner and I were over at a restaurant, a Spanish restaurant, and these women, you know, I think they were like maybe like in their 40s and maybe a little bit older. They just they were Spanish. They spontaneously started dancing the flamenco.
Nice.
And their husbands got up and started dancing with them. It was so amazing. I mean, just so amazing. You know that what they were expressing their appreciation that Spain won the World Cup, and they were exuberant. You know.
Yes.
Does that relate to you at all? Can you understand that?
Yeah, there's a ton of joy in moving your body in space. I'm just going to answer your question about Trolley Dances is the 24th and 25th of September. Okay. So yeah, it's a tremendous amount of joy. And I would say very healing for me to be able to spend my time doing this every day, most emotionally, mentally, and physically, very healing. And even when I'm at my worst, my dance class or my students often shift the wind of my attitude because we're enjoying music and dance and moving in space and celebrating the actual possibilities of movement in our bodies. You know, by the time you're an adult, if you're not doing something like this, playing sports or something, you use about 300 movements of the body's capacity, somewhere like 5,000, 6,000 opportunities through the way the body's designed to move. But unfortunately, if we don't do dancing or some kind of athletic sport, we're not challenging ourselves in that way. So yeah, and we do some inorganic things like get in and out of a bunch of metal, which is a car, right? That's just really inorganic. So dancing really gives us a chance to connect to movement possibilities that are expressive and creative and healing. Yeah. And we need a lot of that healing right now, I would say.
Yeah, I think so. So Mitch, Mitch, are you a dancer, Mitch?
I am actually. I took men's dance in junior high, and I've done ballroom dancing, and so I've actually done some performing dancing in a pageant that was back in New York for 3 different years.
Mitch, look at you. That's great.
It's a lot of fun.
You know, we're gonna have to see that now. You know.
Oh yeah, no, that was just to get him in there. And you know, ballroom dancing. I always like to see that ballroom dancing. You know, where you know, people get so committed to it, right? And I mean, and they're really good at it. I mean, they're amazingly good at it. You know, we used to have our big TV or movie productions. We used to have people like Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire and Danny Kaye and you know, all that. But not so much anymore. You know, I guess we had flash dancing. We had some of those, but is dancing as a part of Hollywood big time movies anymore, or is that just a thing of the past?
Well, they just did a remake of West Side Story.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, I would say it's a hit or miss situation. I teach the history of dance, and one of the things I like to teach about is John Travolta, because now here you know I'm 60 because he did Welcome Back Kotter in the 70s, and then he did Saturday Night Fever, and then he did Pulp Fiction. But he was a mover, and I think he's shocked a lot of people. So yeah, it's good to see the movement. The dance, the actors being able to sing and dance, which is they call it.
We only have 2 minutes left. Tell us the most interesting dance story you can.
What's the question?
Tell us the most interesting dance story that you can.
Oh my gosh, in 2 minutes. Okay. Wow. I would say that I was dancing in Switzerland with Faith Jensen Ismay, who runs Mojole, and we were doing a duet concert, and I had an out-of-body experience. I was in the audience up at the top of the theater, and I was watching myself and my friend Faith dance. And I would say that it was a really, it still gives me shivers talking about it. So you know, there's a transcendence there, right? So
you teach the history of dance, and you actually teach dance as well.
Yes, I predominantly teach contemporary modern dance.
Okay, do you teach that at San Diego City College?
Yes, I teach choreography, I teach performance, I teach history of dance, music for dance, what else? A ton of stuff, everything.
Well, Mitch, in other words, Mitch could enroll
at
San Diego City College and get over. Mitch, let's get you over there, okay? So you can start participating in some of these.
I would love that. I
would love that.
It would be great.
That form of expression is one of the most beautiful things in the world. So as we wrap up the show, thank you all for joining us here on Talk of the Town. Mike, do you have any additional comments?
No, Mitch, just appreciate you so much. And everybody that was on today is really a great show. And we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Francis, for calling me.
Yeah, can I just say that I have a friend who created something called the Aqua Lilies that is doing uh, dance in water. What do you call it?
Uh, aqua
Precision dancing. So the
yeah.
old school, like, I mean, so there's a
synchronized.
revival. There's a revival of kind of old performative dances, including Aqua Lilies in the water.
Okay, so if you watch Busby Berkeley on YouTube and watch the way he uses the women in the water. He used to talk about movies with movement. Busby Berkeley from the 30s.
All right, we're gonna do that. Bye-bye, everybody.
See you at the WOW Festival.
Okay.
Bye.
Ow.